"Hi, Wolf Fang," she cried, springing upon the sled as it leaped into sudden motion. "Ai ya, mush on!" From the corner of his eye, Harrington watched her swinging down the trail to 40 Mile. Where the road forked and crossed the river to Fort Cudahy, she halted the dogs and turned about. "Oh, Mr. Lazymans," she called back. "Wolf Fang him say yes, if you win air." But somehow, as such things will, it leaked out, and all 40 Mile, which had hitherto speculated on Joy Molineux's choice between her two latest lovers, now hazarded bets and guesses as to which would win in the forthcoming race. The camp divided itself into two factions, and every effort was put forth in order that their respective favourites might be the first in at the finish. There was a scramble for the best dogs the country could afford, for dogs and good ones were essential, above all, to success. And it meant much to the victor. Besides the possession of a wife, the like of which had yet to be created, it stood for a mine worth $1 million at least. That fall, when news came down of McCormick's discovery on Bonanza, all the lower country, Circle City and 40 Mile included, had stampeded up the Yukon, at least all save those who, like Jack Harrington and Louis Savoy, were away prospecting in the west. Moose pastures and creeks were staked indiscriminately and promiscuously, and incidentally, one of the unlikeliest of creeks, El Dorado. Olaf Nelson laid claim to 500 of its linear feet, duly posted his notice, and as duly disappeared. At that time, the nearest recording office was in the police barracks at Fort Cudahy, just across the river from 40 Mile. But when it became bruited abroad that El Dorado Creek was a treasure house, it was quickly discovered that Olaf Nelson had failed to make the down Yukon trip to file upon his property. Men cast hungry eyes upon the ownerless claim, where they knew $1,000 waited but shovel and sluice box. Yet they dared not touch it, for there was a law which permitted 60 days to lapse between the staking and the filing, during which time a claim was immune. The whole country knew of Olaf Nelson's disappearance, and scores of men made preparation for the jumping and for the consequent race to Fort Cudahy. But competition at 40 Mile was limited, with the camp devoting its energies to the equipping either of Jack Harrington or Louis Savoy. No man was unwise enough to enter the contest single-handed. It was a stretch of 100 miles to the recorder's office, and it was planned that the two favourites should have 4 relays of dogs stationed along the trail. Naturally, the last relay was to be the crucial one, and for these 25 miles their respective partisans strove to obtain the strongest possible animals. So bitter did the factions wax, and so high did they bid, that dogs brought stiffer prices than ever before in the annals of the country. And, as it chanced, this scramble for dogs turned the public eye still more searchingly upon Joy Molineux. Not only was she the cause of it all, but she possessed the finest sled dog from Chilkoot to Bering Sea. As wheel or leader, Wolf Fang had no equal. The man whose sled he led down the last stretch was bound to win, there could be no doubt of it. But the community had an innate sense of the fitness of things, and not once was Joy vexed by overtures for his use. And the factions drew consolation from the fact that if one man did not profit by him, neither should the other.